Yuki P1. Like, obviously, right? Like,
let's go.
like,
Yuki P1.
We did it.
yeah.
Wow. Episode 3, Turn 14. Thanks so much for joining back on the podcast. Turn 14 is just a podcast where three brothers just talk about Formula One and share our thoughts about what happened. This past weekend was something interesting.
Yeah, it was quite a roller coaster ride for us Ferrari fans and Lewis Hamilton fans. But
Yeah.
Big win for Lewis. I know you were happy about that.
Oh, I was so happy, really happy. But
So
I think Lewis is getting that full Ferrari experience right now.
That's for sure. So this was the Chinese Grand Prix, right?
Yeah.
So, I just want to
new pavement, right? Everything was pretty much fresh for them.
Yeah. It was a sprint weekend too. So we got, which actually kind of is exciting in a way because typically you get 3 practices, right? For anybody that doesn't know, but with sprint weekends, you only get one opportunity to practice, and then it's straight into qualifying for the sprint race. The sprint race, and then it's back into qualifying for the actual race, and then the longer race afterwards. So it doesn't really give much, like the teams don't get much time to actually like figure out a setup. You kind of have to go based on past data and like what you know. And like you mentioned, the Chinese track was just recently paved, and so
it's interesting that sprints are always a toss up. Even in Miami last year when we went the sprint, we had like Ricardo up, almost like getting pole at one point. It's just so crazy that even though it's just the same situation, it's just a race, maybe a third of a race. It's usually different results, and I love that about sprints. It's so much fun.
It's always interesting.
Yeah, and it's hard. You know, it's a bigger gamble for them. Like you said, one practice, and they kind of got to go right into it. And once you start qualifying, you can't change anything on the car. So it opens itself up for a lot of different opportunities. But it's a fun time. And then this weekend was obviously pretty good for Hamilton on that first round.
That
set the record.
First Ferrari.
That was cool.
The sprint results was actually, it was nice. Honestly, I was obviously really happy. I'm sure along with a couple other people too, you know, but it was, really nice to see Lewis and Max kind of go at it in the very like beginning, first turn, like just brings back memories of them going at it during the 2021 season. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, obviously there was a lot of controversy and like skepticism with Lewis and his engineer and the communication, and then literally the next possible race he comes through with the dub. So that was a good way to shut people up a little bit and let them know like, hey, there's growing pains. We're gonna get through this. Let me prove to you that I can still get this done. And he did really, 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 really well. He managed those tires incredibly well. I think almost every single radio that I heard, everyone was just talking about the tires. And Lewis was just dead silent, like, I got this. Let me just do this.
Focused.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah. When he got pole position for the sprint quali, just how genuine that laugh was, how excited he was, and then what do you guys think he meant? His engineer by Santiago or Santiago?
San Diego.
I did see that. I hear
like
that.
what is that about? Like I'm curious. I'm like searching up everywhere. I have no idea. I think it's like an insider thing too.
It must be that. Yeah.
Inside.
Yeah.
It must be an Italian inside joke. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't know. But it was super great to see him come through. Leclerc was not too far behind, but the sprint race was always great, and in a new track with everyone, I think that was really awesome to see.
Lando messed up though on this
14?
qualifying for sprint. Yeah. And so
you see him in the back. Right into the,
I got scared for a sec. I saw that. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
But no, he's heading right into
a lot of people thought he crashed.
Yeah.
I was hearing I've been watching a whole bunch of different YouTube videos and people report on like all the situation that's happened over the past weekend, but it seems like Lando wasn't managing his tires well and not necessarily utilizing, I guess, every part of the car and his tires to the best of his ability throughout that, and it was struggling pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. But it is crazy how the results for sprint race, right? Like qualifying, Hamilton winning. He did such a great job managing his tires, and I was, I remember texting you guys like all about tire management this
Yeah.
race right now. Like, let's see who can maintain those tires. And Max was creeping up on him, and then just out of nowhere, next thing you know, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds,
Yeah.
he's ahead.
Mhm.
And I think McLaren was also kind of struggling as well. But with the sprint races after the race, you do have the ability, chance to adjust your
Yeah.
car. So Parc Fermé is like open and like, hey, you can make these changes. So it was great. I loved it. It was awesome to see him win his first race with Ferrari. Granted, it's like not a full race, but a win's a win,
I mean,
and
first win under your belt. I'm sure
Yeah.
a lot of weight's been lifted off of his shoulders for sure.
exactly.
For
yeah.
sure.
And I'm sure it was giving him that confidence that he needs going into like the second race, which is a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Oh,
to
yeah.
have, yeah. So, but yeah, that was the kind of like a quick overview of like the sprint. Then we get into qualifying. Freaking one thing I wanted to mention: Lawson, what is it? He P19 on the sprint race or P20
Yeah.
on the sprint?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
On qualifying, right?
yeah, Lawson's a whole bag of worms that we'll need to dive into, but
Yeah.
I mean, he said in a couple interviews he just doesn't can't get it underneath him, or
Yeah.
he's just not getting the car right now, which it's been a topic of conversation because it seems like every single driver before Lawson couldn't
Yeah.
understand the car.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what gives? Like, well, what do we do here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you think.
All right. I mean, if we're gonna get into that now,
I mean, might as
we
well.
can. Yeah, because
we're in it.
I just peeked over at my laptop. I got a notification. I think it's official that Yuki and Lawson are switching. I just got
Yeah.
some news on
There's been new rumors lingering around after the race, but it's unfortunate. Well, listen, to give it like benefit of the doubt, he's never raced in China before,
Fair.
Yeah.
I think it was the same for Australia too. But that second seat is just, it's either cursed or it's, I don't know,
No,
man. It's tough.
I think Red Bull's they're screwing themselves over right now. I mean, you make such a big deal with Lawson last year by replacing Ricardo with him.
I mean, Checo.
No,
no, you mean when he went into
when he went to RB.
Racing
Yeah.
Bulls. Yes.
And so you do that and you set this up and you have obviously Yuki there that's been there for a while, for some reason not getting the seat, but it seems pretty clear now that there's something up with their car that now nobody else seems to be able to get a grip on it, and you don't give people enough time maybe to really settle in. But I don't know. It's a lose-lose, I think, from in my eyes with Red Bull. There's nothing good that can come out of this unless Yuki just kills it. But
I don't know. Lawson, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming Lawson knew that getting into the Red Bull seat is going to come with a lot of criticism and a super big magnifying glass on his performance. Right. I'm sure he came into the seat knowing that was going to happen. It sucks that he finished P20, back-to-back races, which is not a good look for him. But at the same time, like, what are they doing through the off season or prior to this starting? I'm sure there was a whole bunch of sims. I'm sure they have this set up perfectly for them to run it.
Yeah.
Like, what were the results? I'm just confused that he's performing so bad. In the seat.
It is tough, right? It's like, who knows, right? And then you're racing in the first two races of the season or tracks that you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
And then it's like you go through a wet race initially as a starting, and then you go to China, which is one that you've never driven before, with the brand new pavement, with a car that you're still trying to like wrap your head around. And it's just like, I'm not trying to come up with excuses, but it sucks.
Yeah, and to be fair, neither is he. I don't think there's anything out there where he's putting it on anyone else but himself, which I think goes to show
Yeah.
that I think he knows what's going on. He understands the situation. I just I don't know what do they do, because if Yuki comes in and takes this, which you called Ben last week,
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
but if he doesn't perform, now what? Like that, like
Yeah.
Oh God, I hope.
I
that doesn't
know.
happen.
Well,
I'm
but it's his
scared
home
for
race
that
too,
to
right?
happen,
Well,
Like,
let's
honestly.
talk about this.
that'd be
Yeah, I know.
Let's talk about this. So you've had 4 different drivers come in here. Like, is it the drivers that are not
Yeah.
able to drive this car, or is it we have to do something about the car? And it seems, a couple interviews and a couple videos that I saw, it seems that Red Bull has tailored the car to Max's driving style, which is fine, but they should be able to also kind of help out, whoever else is in that seat. So it's kind of, I keep going back and forth. Like, is it Red Bull? Is it the drivers? We've already have 4 drivers that just have not done it.
Yeah.
I really hope that Yuki can do something. I mean, at this point, he just needs to finish P19 and
Right,
he's already done
right.
I know.
better than Lawson.
I know.
So
I mean, on the bright side, if the rumors are true and the breaking news is like completely, where did that come from? Was it like an Instagram
it's
page?
a couple of
F1?
racing websites, Racing News 365. I've
Nice.
just got a bunch of notifications that it's
Cool.
that
how
it's
awesome
happening.
is that he gets to drive in
Yeah.
Japan,
Yeah.
Red
Yeah.
Bull in a new
It's amazing.
Yeah.
uniform.
Netflix.
This is
Don't fuck this up,
Netflix. Netflix. I can already see him walking in slow motion with a new uniform. This is gonna be great.
That's awesome.
You called it too, man. You
Yeah.
called it in the very beginning. Yuki to Red Bull. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen, and it happened
Immediately, yeah.
immediately.
Hashtag Yuki to Red Bull.
Yeah.
But I mean, to your point, Matthew, like this is going to be because this is so either Yuki does absolutely well, and I guess it's kind of a slap in the face to Red Bull. Like you've had him all of this
Right.
time and never really give him the promotion, or he doesn't do so well, and Red Bull's like, well, like what do
Now,
we-
yeah,
it's
now
the
do we
car.
do
What do
now?
we
Yeah.
do
Well, what do we do
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
we'll
which-
see. This is going to be an interesting
see.
weekend.
Yeah.
I'm praying he
I,
does
I,
great.
I am too. But even if he, honestly, it's a win-win for him. Even if he
Yeah.
can't pull it together, there'll be lots of talks. It'll be a fun time next week.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
So
I
does
cannot
so
wait.
now does Lawson stay with Racing Bulls? Let's say if
Assume
that's
so.
the
I think
case.
that's what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
I assume.
Yeah.
And where does Colapinto fall into place here? Because I heard rumors about that too.
I don't know how crazy those rumors
Colapinto
were.
is
how,
currently with Alpine right now as their reserve, and so I think.
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, it's Red Bull. I think they can easily.
that would have been a curveball,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
way. That would have been a major curveball out of nowhere.
Yeah, but I think Red Bull can probably buy him out of contract if need be. But then that means you're just not giving Lawson anything, and that would be, I think, a tougher
Yeah,
blow. And I don't think
I
that's a
think-
fair decision.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
I think, yeah, I agree. I think the just swapping them, you get demoted to Racing Bulls, which if you did half a season in, and just get it together, get your head straight, and then when you're ready, in time, hopefully, if Yuki's not performing, well, I hope Yuki is. I think if anybody deserved that seat, it was Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah.
So, so let's see. I just hope that he fucking crushes it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Yuki is going
I-
to crush it.
I do
I mean,
too.
Something tells me that he just has so much to prove to people
Mm-hmm.
that, like, for everybody that doubted me,
Yeah.
everybody that's doubted him, that said that, and just being skipped over, like, just looking at, like, I feel like he just wasn't taken seriously at all,
Mm.
as a real driver. But look, he's been performing well. He performed well his whole entire career when it was told AlphaTauri, getting the change to the Racing Bulls name.
Yeah.
He's just been with the junior team the sister team for a while, and I think he's proved his
But
abilities.
That's it
you
should
know?
be the point of the team, right? To give the driver
Yeah.
the time to build up the skill and pull him in. And so
Yeah.
now's the time for sure.
Now is the time.
That'll be amazing to see Yuki come and do come into Japan and absolutely crush it. For Lawson though, like I feel bad for him. Like like you now you have to prove yourself in the racing boat, which thankfully they've been pretty quick.
It's an easier car to drive.
Yeah, well,
even Max was saying,
interesting.
It is. It is an easier car to drive for sure. That's what everybody's saying. It's like completely different. And then the racing bull, like the Red Bull car, is just the operation window is so narrow. It's like,
but Yuki has driven it. He has done the test drive in it. So it's not completely new to him. So hoping he can figure it out.
Yuki's also crazy. So I think that matches him. So I am so excited. If this is real, like happening, man, oh my God, I'm gonna be up at like 3 a.m. watching this Japanese race, man. This is gonna be so epic, and oh man, I am. Yeah, Yuki to Red Bull.
Do it.
Yeah, hashtag Yuki to Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
So I didn't know teams can just swap drivers out that simply. Like they can just be like, hey, by the way, you throw on the other.
Yeah.
So.
And I think part of that's because they're obviously sort of the same company, not really whatever. I don't. That is also a weird part of F1 that I don't understand, because I know Mercedes also kind of has that relationship a little bit with Williams, or they did, but
yeah. I think they still do. It's considered like the junior team to Mercedes. Well, at least it was. Well, George Russell. Like anybody that was in the Mercedes junior driver program, the goal would be to get to Williams to then become the driver of a Mercedes, which George Russell was. By the way, George Russell has been Mr. Consistent, they call him. He's been
wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, he's been doing really well. Yeah. But yeah, like you would get into Formula One as a junior in Williams, and then make your way into the Mercedes team, in hopes to be a Mercedes driver, which Kimi Antonelli didn't have to do.
True.
Yeah.
True. I'm talking about Mercedes. Yes, he's pretty consistent, but I mean, Mercedes just seems just blah. Like I don't see anything really special. Obviously, they have a rookie, and George is kind of still staying on top of the field as best as he can, but I'm not seeing anything like special with Mercedes. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It has seemed like for a while George is kind of like chilling his way through. Something happens, he gets a podium and he's there, which good on him. Obviously, I think he, that's part of the job. Put yourself in the right position to take advantage of any opportunities, which I think he does a lot. But yeah, I don't know. There's
I agree.
I think it's up to maybe Kimi to start lighting things up at Mercedes and bringing some more attention there, and which I think he will. I expect to see him win a race this year, for sure. I think so. I think Kimi has the potential. I mean, the car is there, and just seeing him in Australia was really impressive. So
yeah. Well,
you know what they say, right? Like the wets, it equals the car performance, and it's all about the drivers, at that point. So, I mean, I kind of agree with the George Russell thing. I've been watching this for a while now, and I remember George Russell being in Williams, but not for nothing, dude. Like, he's super consistent. Yeah, I think it's like, I just feel like George doesn't get his flowers, Yeah. I don't think he's been getting his flowers, but I think it's just because, it could be a little corny, I guess, but I mean, he made the right call.
Mm-hmm.
This is a one-stop. Everybody went into the Chinese Grand Prix thinking, because of the brand new pavement, that it's going to be a two-stopper. Pirelli thought it was going to be a two-stopper. Everybody thought it was going to be a two-stopper until you started to see everybody just like, whoa, like I'm able to stay out. Like George is putting in really good time. He called it on the radio. Alex Albon called it on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Stroll again, just so happened to manage
Oh,
his
he
way.
was the
through
reason everyone
race.
knew.
He was the
Yeah.
reason why everybody was
Which
doing
feel
it.
bad for him.
And he just
He got nothing out of that.
Nobody again. Nobody just like
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Over these people over here, like you're doing your thing,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
these guys, you know. So I don't know. We always get on Lance Stroll, but man, George also called it, and I thought, he's. I feel like he's really stepping up in trying to be the leader
Yeah.
For sure.
for Mercedes, because if you see how he interacts, you see how he's really trying to push the team. He's, I made a mistake in saying that Kimi has big shoes to fill, right? Like he's replacing
Mhm.
Lewis, but it wasn't really Kimi replacing Lewis. It's George
Right.
Russell
Yeah.
replacing Lewis Hamilton and Kimi coming in as the rookie. And but I will say, I definitely see George and or Kimi winning a race this year, at least one. I do think George, despite the cringiness and some of the corniness of him, he knows what he's doing. He's stepping into becoming a leader, and I just want to give him his
Yeah.
flowers now.
Yeah,
while
no,
he's
I hear you.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, George definitely is for the people. I can see him waving
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
president. I can
The
see him.
pose.
I respect it. I
Yeah.
respect it. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, speaking of winners, Oscar takes it.
Yeah.
And like I said, predicted earlier, maybe an episode or two ago, that Yuki will be going to Red Bull. I'm telling you now, Oscar's going to put a fight for that
Oh, yeah.
driver's championship.
Yeah.
That boy can drive.
I think so. I think it's going to be like an Oscar Lando situation, unless something. Again, we're so like we just started.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in the second race. There's so much that can happen, but yes, McLaren is definitely
Yuki Tsunoda,
showing their dominance.
world driver champion. No, no.
He'll have the car to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. No. The Oscar did great. He managed his tires very well. He really stayed calm. And he was able to like just do a match to full race and
Yeah.
without any mistakes. And one thing I did want to talk about too was Lando's performance. I gotta give him credit, man. Lando has matured so much from when I first started watching him race to where he's at now. The fact that he's able to keep his shit together in the middle, like towards the end when his brakes.
If that didn't happen, I think he would have had a chance for first.
Yeah, 100%. He was trying, and his brakes were just gone.
Mm-hmm.
Old Lando would have put it in a wall
Yeah.
or like went off track, because I've seen him choke. And he's choked in one of the Russian. He had an opportunity to win the Russian Grand Prix years ago. It was raining. He decided to stay out in slicks. Blah blah blah. He got excited. He messed up, and he went off. And it was really hard for him to get back in. But Lando, everybody was just constantly like, he cracks under pressure, all this stuff, blah blah blah. But I think last year, and especially in the beginning of this year, he has really been like showing everybody like, I could handle the pressure. I could get my shit together. I'm fucking like focused. And
Yeah.
I am like, no matter what I'm in, no matter who's challenging me, like I'm going to like keep my cool and just like get through it.
I mean, watching it, I was losing my mind. I was like, is this really going to happen? Is Verstappen going to come back and take it, or whoever was coming in P3? I was just so nervous, and hearing him on the radio, he was just like, my brakes are not working. Like, we'll make this happen.
was
But he
like
was super
no
calm.
panic.
Yeah, no panic at all.
Yeah.
I was losing my mind. I didn't think that was going to happen, because it'll show, like, it showed when he pressed on the brakes all the way and the car just was not
Yeah,
It
stopping.
wasn't at all.
And him lifting off the throttle very, very early,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just trying to.
I think
luckily,
it was.
I think only 2 laps before the end of the race when things started getting crazy, and so
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because that would have been tough, a DNF, because your brakes are gone, and then you have to like retire the car like earlier or
yeah,
Yeah,
rather
in the mid-race.
DNF
Well,
or
you know what's
get disqualified.
That's what I was gonna say. What's worse than a DNF?
I know.
Come on.
Yeah, I know.
What happened there?
Fucking A. Lewis is getting that full Ferrari experience
That's for sure.
right now, you know? And I'm feeling all the pains of all being a Ferrari fan.
What a
this
roller
year.
coaster for you this weekend.
It has been.
Win to D&Q. Disqualified. So I don't understand how something like that happens, specifically on Charles' end, even though it was wild that he finished a race with half a wing pretty much.
Yeah. What happened was the one stop, I think. No one was planning on it. And for, if people that might not know, the tires are wearing down, they're losing weight, obviously. And when you plan to have a 2-stop and have a lot more rubber on there,
that and fuel.
Yeah. And
I think they might have underfueled his car.
That's incredible. Like, just think about that. Like, you have to think of every single situation when it comes to this sport. Like, if they stop by one or twice, that's going to be a difference between a certain amount of weight. I think that's incredible. I think that's why I fell in love with this sport, because of all of the nuances that go along with it.
Yeah. And one thing that drivers do, which is really interesting that Netflix didn't highlight this when George Russell won Spa. He actually got disqualified. So what drivers tend to do is when they finish a race, there's so much rubber on the track that they drive over it in their outlap before they get back in. So typically, if the track is long, they would just run over it, try to pick up as much of that rubber to add weight.
I see.
Because the tires could lose about 3 kilos of weight, every race, right? So I think they try to pick those up as they're going out and trying to come back in, so that way they meet that criteria, and George Russell lost. He won Spa, but got disqualified, unfortunately, which gave Lewis the win because of that underweight on the car. And he didn't have an opportunity to go around and try to grab as much.
Because he had to make that.
Yeah, because it's an extremely large. It's one of the largest tracks.
That does make sense. Wow.
Yeah.
What's interesting too because Charles, he clipped his front wing to Lewis at the start of the race and lost that piece of it. But I think when they go and do the weigh-in, they're allowed to replace the front wing. So he wasn't under because of that.
That didn't.
Right.
And he was only, it was 1 kilogram under I think the 800 kilogram limit. So these are very very minute kind of details that, like you said, they really need to consider, and it just doesn't work out for you every time. And then on top of that, Lewis Hamilton, which I wasn't that was just wild, waking up to both of them disqualified.
Yeah. So for anybody that doesn't know, the reason why Lewis Hamilton got disqualified is every car has a wood plank underneath. And that's pretty much the way the what do you call
the FIA?
FIA, but the people that work for them,
the stewards,
they inspect the cars. The stewards could determine, if your ride height is too low or too if you're breaking any regulations. But Lewis, they overshot how much to drop the car, and 0.05 millimeter or 0.5 millimeters,
something stupid.
That's like if you have your wallet, pull out your credit card and just hold it. That's how much. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but that's how strict they are with the rules and regulations. Absolutely. Which is wild. But I was gutted. I was upset, obviously. And
I don't understand. I don't think that's. That's very rare for two of the same drivers to D&Q, disqualified.
Getting that full Ferrari experience, they put out a statement, they misjudged. You learn from it. Thank God it's just in the very beginning. Sure. So there's a lot of all right, cool. Let's make sure this does not happen again, please.
Those are some big points though.
They're really they
missed out on some good points right there.
It is.
Because based from what we're seeing, this is going to be a pretty close race. So at this point, every point matters. So it was surprising for me to see that they both were disqualified, especially on how well Lewis performed and how well Leclerc was able to finish this race again with half a wing, which was insane. Which
Yeah.
I think from what I heard was helping him.
Yeah, it was. It was actually helping him. One thing that I want Lewis and his engineers and his his part of the Ferrari team is they made changes to the car. I don't know what happened. He put in the fastest lap record. Granted, Oscar did beat it.
Yeah, yep.
During regular qualifying, but you put in the fastest lap record, you crush it during the sprint, but then you guys make changes to the car for qualifying, even though it's like small changes.
Sure.
I'm just thinking in my head, why not just keep it, right? So I don't know. They did make changes. I know it's tough, right? It's like you make the changes, you're thinking that this is gonna help, blah blah blah. You're thinking long term, what's gonna happen, and then it just doesn't pan out, which is unfortunate.
Well, what do we have? We have Japan coming up now, and this is a pretty incredible track. I love the way this looks. It's a kind of undulating track, and it goes up and down. This is going to be a very exciting weekend if the rumors are true with Yuki going in there. I'm not sure what things looked like last year, but this is exciting for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
I hope Yuki goes. I hope we get to see some more drama. It's always fun.
Again, fairy tale story. Him going to his home country is his home race.
Seriously.
To race. I think that's
Oscar's just standing in the back, like, hey, why couldn't it happen to me? Like,
yeah.
One thing that I wanted to point out too is that for Oscar, this was like a legit win, and I'm sure it felt really good for him too. It's like the first couple of wins was more like in Hungary where Lando just gave him back to position and he won, but I think he really proved I'm not here to play around.
Yeah.
I put it on pole during qualifying. I'm not messing up. I stood P1 the whole entire race pretty much, and just he showed this is. I'm sure it boosted his confidence even more now.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, can you really tell though? Because he doesn't show
I
his
know.
emotions. Apparently, he
doesn't.
screamed in his helmet, but then it was like, "All right, guys, that was cool."
He saw it too.
Come on, Oscar, show
You can
us
see it
something.
in the car. He just bops his head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, it's he's an interesting one. McLaren has it in for them this year. It's gonna be tough to not interfere in what's going on. But if at any point this season the two McLarens touch, it's gonna be whoever's on top. I think they're just gonna cut it off right there and be like, you guys are done.
Yeah.
But
some notable things that I wanted to mention during the race was Williams. Alex Albon's been doing great. He's just been. You heard that radio call with him, just I'm good.
I am
I'm
better than
everybody right now.
Yeah.
The confidence coming out of I love that, man. This is great. This is just Williams coming fucking
It gets
back.
me excited for
Fucking love that.
2026 because that's all they've been talking about for the past 2 years. I'm just we're gonna get ready for the new rules, the new regs. We're not putting in all of our time and effort into this year, and they're still killing it. So
I saw some stats. Williams has more points now than they did all of last year.
Yeah,
or something like
exactly. They finished with 7. What is it? They have 17 points, something like that. I don't know, but it took them a whole year to get to that. They're in 2 races and already have 17 points. So in the constructors, they're definitely going to be top of the midfield for sure. If not RB, Racing Bulls, or definitely. I feel like it's both of them going at it.
Yeah.
And then you have Haas sneaking their way in, double points after the disqualification, which Ollie Behrman doing. He was doing great, man. He should have won driver today.
Yeah.
Chow.
When he kept saying chow to people, that was funny.
Yeah.
he should have won driver of the day. I don't know
think so.
why
Yeah.
Kimi did. But
He doesn't know why either. He was just like, what the hell? Toto Wolff and all that were just like, you somehow got it. But supposedly everybody had bets on Kimi coming in higher up there. So maybe that's why. I don't know.
Shout out to my
Yeah,
rookie,
maybe.
Isaac. Finally finished a race. Did pretty good. I was happy to see him finish. So I have good aspirations for him. I think he's going to do really, really well.
I think so too.
I hope so.
I think so. He's growing on me.
And I wonder. Yeah, I mean, like, not to go back to this, but if Yuki and Lawson switch, it'll be interesting to see Isaac and Lawson kind of go at it. We have I think the rookies probably in more of a position that they should be. Maybe. And so we'll see what's going on. But who else? I mean, it was Bortoletto and Jack, right? That crashed right at the very end.
Yep. Jack, I don't know. He has some rough luck past two races.
Yeah, he's the one that the pressure was on before the season started. On like, is he going to lose his seat to Colapinto? This and that, and then I didn't think it was much of anything, but after China, we'll see. It'll probably be the next race, but we'll get some more.
And one
driver
thing
swaps. But
that's really interesting about the season so far is that any swaps like that don't happen until like mid-season, the summer break. So if these rumors are true with Lawson, I wouldn't be surprised if Jack doesn't continue to perform or continue to like keep up. Then is he going to be swapped before the summer break? Then who knows? But
yeah,
I think all the other rookies are feeling pretty good. I mean, Bortoletto can't really get swapped with anybody. The car is shit, so you can't.
Yeah,
I mean, he's doing what he can. Isaac he's growing on me a lot. He's really showing that he knows, and he's pretty aggressive too. I like that.
He is.
I remember seeing, what's so funny, Ben? I remember seeing a video of, I think I've showed you guys the video in Monaco when he was driving for Formula 2.
Yeah.
And the near miss in a tunnel. That was Isaac.
Oh really? Yeah, I saw that.
That was Isaac. That freaking,
quickly.
The
one that they keep showing, the reaction speed. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
That was freaking Isaac, which is insane. So I'm putting two to two together, like, holy shit. Like, I have a lot of respect for him now.
Oh, absolutely.
So much more than, I'm sorry I called you a TikToker, but
we take that back.
I'll take that back.
I mean, just kind of in that same vein, I think a lot of the cameras that they're putting on the cars also are pretty incredible to see how fast these cars are actually going.
Yeah.
So I think you upgraded to the newer version of F1 TV.
The premium.
Which hopefully is working out for you.
Yes, it is. Yeah, one thing I wanted to point out. Yeah, it's great. One thing, what the hell's going on with the broadcast and the freaking graphics?
I know they were struggling with that.
It was weird.
It was weird.
I think it's only the first race. We got to give them some time to get together.
Well,
they got some interns running this shit. I don't know.
It's only 75 years of F1.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's only 75 years of just you guys doing this.
So what does this weekend look like? Is it? Well, I guess it's not this weekend. It's the following weekend. What does it look like for the schedule? It looks like regular practice on Friday, quali on Saturday.
Yeah, we're getting like traditional race, which is good. But Suzuka's a crazy racetrack, and it's a lot of fast corners, very windy, and it looks awesome too. Yeah.
Is it called the chicane when it goes back and forth? Yeah, I know they have one there, which is pretty sick.
Dude, one thing that's really cool for anybody that doesn't know, if you've ever watched the Senna and Prost battles from back in the day, if you don't know, a lot of championships were always made on the Suzuka race, because I think it was always one of the last races. And there's been a lot of that last chicane, with Senna and them purposely crashing into each other, or Prost purposely crashing into Senna, him winning the championship that way, and going into the first corner. The first corner of Suzuka is insane because it's a long turn, and it's a fast turn too. So I don't know. It's gonna be exciting. I'm really excited to see.
It's interesting you bring up the Senna thing. So my doorman Steve, which I talked to him about this podcast, he used to watch. I mean, he still watches to this day Formula One, but he says that he watched and remembers the day that Senna passed away in that race. So I said, you know what, Steve, it would be cool to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Maybe have him on the show and ask some questions about some of his stories and things like that. But F1 has some pretty sick history, which I wish I can learn a little bit more. I may have to just jump back into some of the archives and watch them. But I would love to get caught up to speed with some of the history behind this sport because it seems like it's come a long way.
Yeah, it's come a long way for sure. That's awesome. I think that would be cool to get a veteran in.
Yeah,
right?
He's been watching for a while. He's like, I remember watching it on TV. He said it was almost like when that day happened, it was awful for the entire F1 community, for the culture, everything about it. He said it was just a somber time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had lost another driver that same weekend too.
Yeah.
And so
It was a pretty bad weekend.
I can't imagine going through all that. And
yeah, so when we went to Miami last year, that was the 30th anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
But Senna's that's why everybody loves him. He was great. If you really want to know who this guy is, watch the Senna documentary.
Yeah.
I think the same the one that we watched on YouTube is the same one on Netflix.
think
Not
so.
the series, but
That one was good.
That one was really good. But yeah, Suzuka, it's going to be exciting if, we've seen it so many times, but Yuki, what an amazing story that would be.
Well, then let's talk about our predictions then for Japan.
Let's get into it.
Because
For sure.
I'm going to come up with some wild one. Let me think about it first.
All right.
Been thinking about this for a bit.
Have you? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just trying to figure out what's gonna happen. This whole Yuki news obviously throws it all.
Yeah,
all
a couple
away.
different scenarios that can happen here.
Yeah.
Let's say in a world where Lawson doesn't get moved.
Yes.
What are your predictions?
I don't know. I don't think Lawson is. All right. If he stays, I mean, I hope obviously he's better than P20 and he's not in the
Poor guy,
bottom.
Lawson, I feel for you. You got this.
P19. Come on, man.
Yeah. But no, if he stays, I think we'll have probably McLaren obviously battling for P1. It's always a little unknown what's going to happen with them and where they'll start. But George Russell and Ferrari in general seem to just they're there. They're I think are what's going to cause a lot of the chaos this race. And so I expect George on the podium for sure.
Wow.
Hopeful for Lando, but I also don't know how things were last year. So it's kind of thrown into the mix.
All right. How about in a world where Yuki does come over to Red Bull? What do you see happening?
Yuki P1. Obviously, right?
Let's go. Yuki P1.
If this happens, I'm in all the way. I don't care.
That's insane.
Buying Yuki merch. Dude, that's it.
A whole other.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be absolutely.
All right.
insane.
So in a world where Yuki just stays with Racing Bulls, I think he finishes above Lawson, which will solidify any doubts. They're gonna do the switch. I think it's going to be McLaren, Verstappen. I think a Ferrari is going to be in there a little bit. I think they have a lot to make up. So I think it's going to be a three team top. If Yuki gets moved to Red Bull, I want to say that he's going to finish top 3, but he's definitely going to do so well that he's just going to stay. And I think maybe P4, P5 for Yuki realistically. And my amazing dream, P1 P2, P3 would be so sick.
That would be.
I don't think I've ever seen Yuki on a podium.
That would be it hasn't happened actually.
Yeah,
but for me in real world, I have a feeling we're gonna have a McLaren, Mercedes, or Red Bull. I think Ferrari's gonna be up there too. I don't know. I think they have a lot of ground to make up, and they have a lot to prove.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and
We
I
got a
think
glimpse of
we're
it.
yeah, exactly. We did. So I'm like, I'm all for Ferrari podium. Lewis has been really showing that he in a way outperformed Charles this past weekend. So for anybody that was doubting him, like, come on. Like it is yeah, Charles knows the team, he knows the car, he knows everything. But Lewis was able to like do very well during the sprint. And during the race, he tried, and out of respect, he let him go, which was, that's great. I think their relationship is gonna be great. But so I think McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull.
Yeah.
That's my realistic predictions.
Yeah.
My Yuki in Red Bull prediction is Yuki fucking podium.
Yeah.
Pole wins
Yeah.
the fucking home race in a dream, right?
That'd be sick.
That would be sick.
Be great.
Yeah, and it's just like him, just by himself up there.
Yeah.
No, I that would be insane if Yuki was to get the swap to Red Bull, gets pole qualifying, wins the race over Max too.
Yuki just
that-
needs to do better than P19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to do better than his past performance, I guess, realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, it's hard because I was gonna say better than Lawson, but with how the RBs have been driving this year, I mean, maybe he'll be closer up. But yeah, ideally, I think the goal for him is to be above Lawson and
I think
anything.
Red Bull probably wants him to do better than the RBs. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think the bar is set
Mm-hmm.
at the very least.
Right.
Do better than the RB cars because, like, forget about Lawson's P19, P20 in the last two races. It's like, dude, you're the sister team right now is outperforming this one car right now, and like if Max is able to put it up there, like you have at the very least need to, and I know Max is just like you can't really compare, but I do think you have to at very least be outperforming
For sure.
the RB cars.
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
It's what they want, but it's whether or not they get it. I think it all comes down to what Red Bull does with Yuki in that car, especially obviously the practices are going to be crucial for that, but and you just I'm scared that they just don't have an answer to it, like because that's what it feels like. They're not gonna be able to really get it locked in for anyone else.
Yeah, like we said earlier, I think it's a lose-lose for Red Bull, to be honest with you. So
For sure.
whether Yuki does well or not, it's a lose-lose. So Red Bull needs to get it together. So excited weekend. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
excited.
Japan's 2 a.m. for us over here in the eastern side for both practice, qualifying, and the race. I think. Qualifying at 2 a.m. and Sunday the race is at 1 a.m.
I'll stay up.
Yeah.
I'll be
do a lot of
watching it.
work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, it's 1 a.m. Sunday,
Oh, that's right.
not Monday.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. I'm staying up then
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some races where it might be like late Sunday,
Yeah.
but I'm staying up for this one. It's gonna be exciting. I am super pumped. We're back. Ferrari has shown a lot of promise outside of the disqualifying, but I'm gonna ride with them this year. That's it. Full blown Ferrari.
Yeah.
We'll turn a blind eye to this DQ. We'll see what happens, but yeah,
The last chance. Otherwise, got.
we'll see.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. There's that meme that's going around with the clown show with Ferrari. So all I'm thinking is just like next time. And listen, if they do bad, I will literally get like a clown hat to wear. Just like next
seriously.
episode.
Hopefully, Lewis can go in there and be like, "Hey guys, let's get this right. Maybe he can bring a different vibe."
I think he will.
so.
I think he's like, no joke. Let's get this shit together.
I guess switch things up. Do it his way.
And Fred too. Fred's another one. They've been, trust me, Ben. When years ago, like when they had their old team principal, it was a fucking clown show,
Yeah.
like a legit clown show. And Fred has definitely turned that team around, and it's like really in such a huge improvement from where they were. But yeah, enough of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
Next week.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens this weekend, and we look forward to kind of following up with that on our next episode. Be sure to follow us. All of our tags are just at Turn 14 Podcast,
Yep.
and follow us there. You know what to do.
Yep. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yeah.
As of right
like,
now. So
like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Like and
Do
subscribe.
whatever, I'll
Yeah.
put something here that says like and subscribe.
push that notification.
Yeah.
Push that notification bell.
Good
All
stuff,
right.
guys.
Have a good one, guys.
See ya.
See ya.